Let us begin with the overview, the basic overview as to what we are going to see in this chapter. So, the chapter is named as the story of village Palampur because this village is a hypothetical village. It is just a made up village just for your convenience in order to understand this chapter. Also, you should know India has a large number of villages, and these villages are the highest producing employment for farmers only, just agricultural based villages. And this story is going to introduce you to some basic concepts that are relating to the production process. What kind of production are we going to look here? First, we are going to see farm activities, that is just the farming sector, and also later on we are going to cover the non-farming activities like I've earlier mentioned, such as cotton textile industries. Like we're going to see some kinds of shopkeepers, what they do, and etc. So for this production to happen, we need natural resources, man-made items, human effort, that is in the form of labor, and like I mentioned earlier, this new concept called as capital that is necessary, which is the money that is required for anything, any kind of production process to take place. So for this chapter, we will be seeing how the above resources such as natural resources, man-made items, human effort, money, everything is combined ultimately to produce some kind of goods or resource that we as consumers, you and I, consume on an everyday basis. So in this chapter, we are going to see how everything comes together so that a new product or a service is ultimately generated. So without wasting any time, let's get on to the main chapter. First, let's begin with introduction. So, like I've earlier mentioned, that Palampur is an imaginary village, just for the convenience for your understanding. And you should also understand it's almost well developed. It is not completely well developed. There is a good road system in Palampur. There are good irrigation, water facilities that is there. There is good electricity. And regarding the socio-economic facilities that are there, you have good schools as well. And you have good hospitals for the caretaking of senior citizens and the ones that are of ill health. Okay, so this story exactly is going to take you across the different kind of production activities that happens in this particular village. Like I mentioned earlier, in this village Palampur, farming is one of the main activities that's here, main production activities. You also have other activities, but a majority of the activity is farming only. The non-farming activities that are present in this particular villages are small manufacturing, transport, shopkeeping. You are very familiar with shopkeeping, as on a daily basis you will be seeing or even visiting some shops for buying stationery or bakery products. So this is a non-farm activity. So let us see now what exactly is organization of production. So this is going to be the main subheading here. So why do we produce something? Why people undertake certain productions? Because for us consumers to have certain goods and services. So we wear, for example, let me give you an example. We wear clothes. We wear clothes for our daily use. How are clothes even produced? It basically comes from cotton. So cotton is the raw material that is needed for the production of clothes. So cotton comes under a farming method. Farmers grow cotton, they yarn it further, then they send it to the manufacturing area, that is called weaving, yarning, and then finally it goes on to the service sector where the last pieces are put together, and then this t-shirt is come as what we want to wear finally, right? So there are four requirements for the production of goods and services. So let us see exactly what are the requirements for production. First, we need land, right? For example, I've given you the cotton example. To grow cotton, You need land. Where else will you grow cotton? It is land itself. So other natural resources apart from land can be water, forests, minerals, right? Then after you have land, you need people to grow the cotton. So that is called labor. Some kind of production activities require highly technical skills, right? People need to have a good educational qualification in terms of computer knowledge or research activity to do that certain kind of work. For example, you have scientists, so they produce the labor for research activity, so they need to be highly qualified. For areas such as farming, you do not require any kind of high skills or anything as such. Then you have the physical capital, the variety of inputs required at every stage during production. Now we've taken the example of cotton, right? So for cotton, what are the to grow cotton? First you need black soil. So that is one of the input. And also, if at all it is not growing well, or a lot of pests are attacking that particular crop, then we will get in the pesticides or the insecticides there. So that is a kind of input. So this is called the physical capital. Then we have something that is called as human capital. So what exactly is human capital? Let us see what's human capital. So human capital is the necessity of knowledge and enterprise to be able to put together the other three requirements that are mentioned above, that is physical capital, labor and land. Fine, we have land with us to grow cotton, we have the kind of labor to grow the cotton, we have the laborers who are working on the certain field, then we have the physical capital such as sickles, plowing, tractors, we have all this. So how are we going to put together all these things? With the working of the human mind, right? If you have the knowledge to grow cotton, you will get to put together all of these other three components. So hence you also need human capital. Let us dig deeper into what exactly is physical capital. We have two divisions here. First division being under tools, machines and buildings. Now that we're very particular into farming itself, let us see the kind of machines we use. So for farmers, you need a plow, right? To like a sickle to dig out the sand, the soil. Then you also have sophisticated machines such as tractors. You'll have turbines for generating electricity and etc. So these can be used for the same kind of production for many years. So you cannot use one turbine for producing electricity once and discard it. You have to keep using it over and over again for many years. Let's take the example of computers as well. Do you use your computer and throw them away after one days of usage? No, right? So you use it again and again, so that it's going to improve your knowledge and you're going to learn a lot of things. So that over the years, when you're using certain things, it is called as fixed capital. So the next kind of division you have here is called raw materials and the money in hand. So what are the raw materials that are used for certain kinds of production? And ultimately, for any kind of production in whatever sector you do, you need money. You cannot do anything for free. So let us see what is there. So like I've told you, for a potter, let's take the example of a potter. He can make a pot only with the help of clay, right? A weaver can do his thing of weaving only if he has yarn, which is ultimately produced by the cotton farming methods. So money is definitely needed for some kind of production, because we have labor that is there. We have labor who are working for the kind of production, and this labor they will not provide for free, because they will have their own kind of necessities back at home. They will have to feed their own family. So we need to give them in the form of cash so that they can sustain their living. So you need to pay them wages. So raw materials and the money in hand is called as working capital. So you have the fixed capital that is there fixed for a very long time. Raw materials and money, they keep shifting and shifting. They don't stay the same throughout years together. Sometimes you don't need when you talk about organic farming, you don't have to put certain raw materials as input such as fertilizers or pesticides. So that keeps changing. Sometimes when pests tend to attack, you have to use pesticides. So it's not fixed over the years, and it keeps changing depending on the environmental situations. So hence that is called as working capital. So these are two divisions that is here under physical capital. So you have a picture here on the right. Look at it carefully. In this picture, please identify the land, the labor, and the fixed capital that is used in production. I will give you a brief 10 seconds here to identify the same, and further I will be helping you out to how to do so. The land is where this particular factory is built, right? The people that the working here very hard are the labor, and the kind of machinery they're using, they're going to use this for years, and hence it is called as fixed capital. Now let me introduce you to a new term that is called as factors of production. So factors of production are those kind of production methods that are such as we've discussed earlier, that is land, labor, physical capital, and human capital. So these four requirements are always necessary for any kind of production activity that you will be taking up. Hence these are also called as factors of production. So for convenience of this chapter, we will be referring to physical capital, that is the fixed and the working capital, as just capital in this particular chapter.